I'm Bobby Spiegel. I'm the president and CEO for the Corona Chamber. We're at the Coffee with the Entrepreneur, and we're very excited because today's entrepreneur, to me, is just a solid rock star. And when you hear what she's done and you know, coming over to America as a young child and then accomplishing the things that she's done, serving in our military, this lady is the entire package, and an amazing woman, businesswoman, a wife, a mother, and a dear friend of ours. So I'll be introducing Dr. Mareena Miller in just a little bit. But the way we need to start, as we start every one of our meetings, we will be doing the pledge momentarily, but I just want to take a moment of silence because there's been a lot of tragedies and a lot of different things going on throughout the world. And almost a year ago, there were 13 military personnel that were murdered, killed in Kabul, Afghanistan. And that 1 year anniversary is coming up on August 26th. There's going to be a community event on the night of the 25th out at the Norco George Ingalls Memorial Veterans Plaza, and that will be at 7 p.m. at night, but that'll be on the 25th of August. So if we could just bow our heads and just take a moment of silence for those people that are near and dear to your heart, for those young men and women that are protecting our freedoms, and for anyone else that you'd like to include. Thank you so much, and I'd be remiss if I didn't include the gentleman that was the voice of the Dodgers for so many years, Vince Scully. So with that, I think we need to do our Pledge of Allegiance. You know, there's 31 words that were put together to represent our pledge to this beautiful flag, and each of those colors means something, but I'd be very honored if you'd all stand and join with me as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Emmett, would you be so kind? Come on up. Come on up. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. I have done that at once.
You've done great. Give them a round of applause. That is one of Mareena's youngsters there, and grown up to be a great young man. I put him on the spot, and my apologies for that, to do that. What I'd like to do, you know, part of today is networking. It's building business relationships, and there's different people in this room. I do have several of my chamber staff here because some of them are brand new to the chamber. We're going to go around the room and we're going to do self-introductions. And this is not an opportunity for you to kind of talk for 25 minutes or anything, because that's Mareena's job to be able to share things today. But each of the people here, tell us who you are, your company name, and then afterwards what our goal is that you find 2 or 3 people that you can network with after Mareena is done with her talk, so that you can get some business going and we can get commerce rolling. So I'm going to introduce Ashley later, but I want her to go ahead and introduce herself.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Zaragoza. I'm the Economic Development Administrator for the City of Corona's Office of Economic Development, and it's great to see you all today.
Good morning, Palvinder Padesha, Express Employment Professionals and Chamber Board.
Good morning, Ray Somerson, Signorama Corona.
Hi, my name is Regan Bonlova. I own Regan V Films here in Corona, California. We take photos and videos.
Say it one more time, but let's go slower. Okay? Go ahead, Regan.
Hi, my name is Regan Bonlova. I own Regan V Films, and I take photos and videos in Corona, California.
Thank you. Good job. How old are you? 15. 15.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, my son.
I understand, Hugo.
My name is Hugo Villanueva. My company is Chesapeake Engineering Group. We're electrical, mechanical, plumbing consulting firm.
I feel like I should sing or something. Conrad Joe Padilla, Crown Companies. We're excited. Where's Mareena? Mareena. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Giovanni Nelson. I'm a financial advisor at Honor Woodman of America.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alejandra Escoto. I'm one of the newest team members here at the Corona Chamber with the Member Engagement Specialist role. Excited to be here.
Good morning, I'm Buzz Brown, currently retired, but serving as a volunteer pastor at Bedford Community Church.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Corey with the Bright Business Program, business learning program, an intensive learning program. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Mitch McDowell. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Kaiser Permanente. This is Evan. We're here to support Mareena.
All right,
Anthony Maldonado, Programs Coordinator at the Corona Chamber.
Gracie Barnett, Procedures and Assistant to CEO at the Chamber.
Christine Barker, and I work at Washington University as an annual fund director.
Good morning, my name is Karina Barajas, and I'm a master's level intern with Kaiser Permanente.
Good morning, Ruth Jaffe, Kaiser Permanente, and also board member for the Corona Chamber.
Rebecca Spooner, no, I don't work for UPS. I'm office manager at Corona Foot and Ankle here in
Hi everyone, I am also new to the chamber and my name is Nathan Yanes. I am a new communications coordinator. I handle all the social media, the emails, and all the marketing materials.
Bring your mic up, give it to Jimmy.
Hi, Jim Dorsey, town photographer, and I'm not new to anything. Been there, done that.
Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. We're glad you're here bright and early. And Rebecca, you could outshine UPS all the time, so don't worry. Brown has nothing on you, okay? So just really glad that you went around the room and hopefully maybe you heard somebody's name or a company name that you thought, oh, I've been wanting to talk to them about business. Maybe you want to do business with them. Maybe you have a product or service that you want to engage with them. Please do so afterwards. But what I'd like to do now is if you could get social, get your cell phones out. I've already silenced mine, but if you could go ahead whenever you take any photos or if you are recording any of this, if you can hashtag Corona Chamber as well as Corona Rocks, that would be really great. In front of you is our July-August issue of the Corona Business News. Our September-October issue is finalized and going to print next week. And if you're interested in maybe advertising in a future issue, you can see either Desiree, Robert, or myself from the Chamber, and we'd be glad to assist you in those things there. One of the things that we really want to emphasize for our Chamber is allowing you to meet other businesses and network. And on Thursday, August 18th at 3 p.m., we're partnering with many different chambers. It's called an all-chamber mega mixer. It's down at the Temecula campus of Mount San Jacinto College. Huge opportunity for you to network with hundreds of people. If you want to just walk down there, go down there and walk around, you can. If you want to have an exhibit booth, great opportunity for you to do business with many different people outside of the immediate Corona area. We do this in collaboration with many chambers because we understand that we want to build the Southern California region with economic growth. So if any of you are interested, please go to the bit.ly, which is Hot August Nights 22. I think there's room for 3 more exhibitors, and that's it. So if you do want to, you can log on and register on that, but it should be by today. They'll be sold out by Monday. I mentioned at the very beginning of the opening, I thought I was at Good Morning Corona. I was just practicing for a couple of weeks from now. But on August 19th at Eagle Glen, we are honoring our local police and fire, and we would invite you to attend that. It's a great program. So we start the program right at 7 a.m., but at 6:30, we open the doors for all the exhibitors to be able to share what they're providing everyone, as well as some networking opportunities and the buffet breakfast. We encourage you to register at GMC AUG 2022, and if you do so this week, the tickets are still at a discounted price. On August 25th is our annual Riverside County Women's Leadership Conference. It is an amazing opportunity for you to go and hear from some tremendous women leaders. And this is called a Women's Leadership Conference. However, real men do show up. And I know that I will be there, and there'll be probably 30 or 40, maybe 50 brave men to be able to learn from what these women have to share. We have over 500 people registered for this event, and it is just 3.5 weeks away, 3 weeks away now, and we're pretty excited about the opportunity. So if you've not got your ticket yet and you'd like to go, please be sure and register at RCWLC 2022. And if you are interested in getting an exhibit booth, Jill Padilla in back is one of our volunteers, and she's coordinating the exhibitors. If you would like to have a booth and be able to share some things with the attendees, you want to talk with her, it's a great opportunity for you to do that. In September, on 9/11, is the 21st anniversary of that tragedy of the terrorists that attacked our home soil of America. And the Corona Chamber, in partnership with the City of Corona, has pledged never to forget and to remember 9/11. And it is going to be almost a week-long ceremony that we're going to do. If you're interested in wanting to help us, there's a lot to do, because we actually display 2,977 American flags, each with the name of one of the people that deceased that were killed on that beautiful Tuesday of September 11th, 2001. And we just want to make sure that their life continues and that we can continue to remember that tragedy. So if you'd like to help, we have various different positions. I know that once we put the flags up earlier in the week, we want people to stand guard in the evenings, so we have 4-hour shifts. So if you want to do something like that, that would be great. We will be able to share with you much more at the next meeting that we have in September. But if you'd like to learn a little bit more, you can go to the Corona Remembers 9/11 link and get all that information. So I shared earlier that we're in a partnership with this program here. The Coffee with the Entrepreneur is in a partnership with the City of Corona. And again, last night I'm very honored and pleased to be able to share with you that the City of Corona approved the contract that started in July through June, and which means that we'll be able to continue doing these Coffee with the Entrepreneurs and so many other things. Our partnership is really strong with the Economic Development Department, and today is Ashley and Zaragoza, and she is with the City of Corona's Economic Development. She's one of the administrators there. But I will tell you, Ashley has a pulse on everything that goes on in this city. If there's a challenge or someone's got a question, we outreach, and it's like calling 1-800-ASHLEY, and it's pretty exciting. I would love for you to show your love and respect for this lady and the Department for Economic Development. We're very fortunate to have pro-business thinking people that are in our community. So I would not be upset if you wanted to stretch a little bit, get up on your feet, and give a round of applause to Ashley Zaragoza. In your office all the time.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much, Bobby, and thank you, everyone. So, good morning, and I just want to say, we're very proud of this partnership that we have with the Chamber, and just working with individuals who are so passionate about the business community, and you are economic development. Making sure that you thrive and succeed is so important to our local economy, and making sure that we're continuing to grow and thrive. And so really want to invite you to this. So we actually, on August 15th, we've been working, and I see a lot of new faces, so I'm going to give a brief synopsis of what we've been working on for the past year or so. So we hired a consultant to develop a downtown revitalization plan, and we held countless community meetings. We held a meeting with the business community. We worked with the Chamber to make sure that surveys were completed, received over 2,400 of them. We have a website, thecoronacircle.com, in which we had over 45,000 interactions on our website. So it's really been a robust system to get the input. This is a very much a community-driven document. And so we actually have the plan. It's in draft form still, but we're ready to present it to the community. So if you are available on August 15th, we have the details here, and there's a bit.ly there to register. We'd love to have your presence, especially as part of our business community, because this is specifically targeted towards the downtown. So it really is the Grand Boulevard, 6th and Main. That's kind of the main core of where this project is. And so we want to get that that opportunity to present what we've been showcasing. So this is going to have different concepts to be able to show how we're going to revitalize the area and opportunities that our consultants have highlighted. But in addition, we have design guidelines. So it's going to be guidelines that are going to help future development. And one of the things we really heard from the community is making sure that we have a cohesive identity. Cronans are very proud people. This is a proud, very tight-knit community. And so we want to make sure there's that vision, that identity. And so we're really excited to showcase this. And we want to be able to present this to community before it's even adopted by our city council in the future. So if you are available, please come and join us. We would love to have your participation. So thank you very much. And if you guys ever have any questions, you had my contact information previously, please reach out. I really am here to make sure that my focus is actually business retention and expansion. So we need to retain you. We need to make sure that you're growing. So please reach out, okay? All right, thank you everyone. And thank you so much, Bobby.
Thank you. Yeah, Ashley is so bashful and she makes it all happen. So can you go back one slide? That is her information. You can feel free to call her directly. Do not need to go through us. We would be glad to be that conduit to kind of do that introduction. But Ashley and the entire team down there are very, very transparent, accessible, and willing to help you in your business. Like Ashley says, her job is retention. She wants to help your business expand. She wants to help your business be able to do as much as you want. So there's no crazy dream out there. We just want to make sure that we can help you accomplish that. So you guys ready for the main event? I have been waiting to hear and be able to introduce Dr. Mareena for so long, because when I first met her, I looked at her and I thought, wow, this is a tiny little lady here that just, I didn't know the total rock star that this lady is all about until I got to know her. As I shared, she has immigrated over to America as a child. She's going to share a lot of that. She also served in our military, in the Army, and I am extremely, extremely proud, because if I could relive my life, which I felt has been pretty perfect, if I could relive my early 20s, I'd probably wear a uniform. I'd probably go into the military. That would be the only change that I'd make. And I envy all those that have done that. And I look at the young men and women that are protecting our freedoms and all the jobs that they do. And Mareena's got lots of stories and a lot of different things in that arena. And then her passion to help people on a health standpoint, as well as physically, of how you look and how you function. She is the total package. And I just want you to know that you're in for a treat today. She's a powerhouse, as I shared earlier. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she's a tremendous business owner, and I'm honored to call her a friend. Again, this is like if your best friend got the Academy Award. When I bring her up, I want you on your feet, jumping up and down, get excited about this, because Dr. Mareena Miller is going to be sharing with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mareena Miller. And the crowd goes wild.
Man, with that introduction, that's a lot of pressure. Well, thank you guys for, Bobby, thank you for having me. Palvinder, thank you for encouraging me to do this, because I backed out like a million times. Did not want to do this because I'm scared of public speaking, and I told her, she's like, no, you're going to do it. But thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for all showing up. And let's see, I put a journey as an entrepreneur because I've been a student for about 14 years of college. I didn't know how I was supposed to prepare for this. So I made a whole PowerPoint presentation like a student. And then Anthony told me, oh no, you just needed to come up and talk. You didn't have to do all this. But he said he'll use it because I did it all. Let's see. And it doesn't turn for me, huh? So I thought I would start off with this quote. It's one of my favorite. I'm South Indian, and he's a South Indian guru who also teaches yoga. So I thought I would start off with this. Life is fluid, ever evolving. The more dynamic you are, the more happens in your life all the time. So I thought that's applicable to everybody because I would say I'm a pretty dynamic person, and my life has changed a lot, and I've lived a few lifetimes for such a short amount of time. So that's one of my favorite quotes. Okay, so Mareena Miller, I'm a board certified doctor of nursing practice. So what that means is I'm still a failure to my mother because I'm not a real doctor. So if you guys know about anything about being Indian, they say grow up and be a doctor. So we have Mitch over there, so I brought her home a doctor, and so in our house, she doesn't come to me for medical advice, she just goes to him. And I specialize in aesthetic and regenerative medicine. So my background's actually pain management. That's what I spend most of my specialty doing as a nurse practitioner. And I decided to open up my own practice focusing on aesthetics, which means I make people look pretty. And then regenerative medicine because I want to help people feel healthy too. So being healthy and looking good from the inside out is my goal. And as far as how I identify myself, those are all the ways I identify myself, first and foremost as a Christian. And then family is the most important thing to me. I'm an immigrant, I'm a woman, I'm a veteran, I'm a mother, I'm so many things. And I think that's relatable to a lot of people because most of us are. We're not all just one thing, right? So I just want to encourage everybody at the end of the day to focus on all those things and not limit ourselves by just one thing. That's all. That's not Mowgli from the Jungle Book. That's actually me.
Sure.
So yes, that is that little boy. That one is me. So that's me in India. I don't even know how old I am, but that's me as a little kid, barefoot. And that right there is me. That's my cousin and that's my sister. So when I show that picture to my friends, they always say, "Oh wow, you guys had a tree house growing up?" No, I did not. That was my house. It was a mud hut, and the floor was dirt, so I can actually say I was dirt poor. And the roof is made from coconut leaves, the whatever that falls off and bamboo shoots. That's how he made our house. So it's amazing to me how many Americans now pay a lot of money to go live that childhood. Or, they pay a lot of money to go this backpacking trip. You can't send me back. I know what a toilet is now. I know what a shopping mall is now. You cannot send me back there. But that's what I grew up in. And so I would say that shaped a big part of who I am. So I just thought I'd put that up there. So this is where I grew up, Kerala, India. Palbinder, there's also Indian, but I'm biased. I would say this is the prettiest state in all of India.
It is.
It's South India, full of trees, elephants. I did have elephants in my backyard. I grew up with 2 elephants. As they weren't pets, they worked for the family, and rice paddies. So it was a very beautiful life. Looking back now, I wish I had appreciated it more. And then I grew up in a family of farmers. So we sold black pepper, rice, cacao for, those are all just grew up eating everything off the tree. And I had no clue about the world because I'd never seen anybody that was anything but Indian in that little village. And the first time I saw anyone different was at the airport in Cochin trying to come to America. And I remember the first time I saw a Caucasian person with blonde hair, I couldn't stop staring, and my dad had to yell at me to stop pointing. But we had no TV, just a radio, and just playing with sticks and made toys out of leaves. That's how idyllic I would say it was. But God had a plan, and long story on how I got here, so we won't go over that, but I made it, and I came to San Bernardino. So I went from the jungles of India to the jungles of San Bernardino. And Waterman Gardens, there's no gardens there. It is it's the projects in San Bernardino, public housing. you know, it was, I didn't know that I was poor until in middle school, because in middle school is when I found out this two-story apartment, which had a big old complex, so there's 4 families living there, and it was a 2-bedroom roach-infested apartment, but I grew up with snakes and bigger roaches, so I thought this was an improvement, and we had a toilet, we had, you know, bathtub and all this stuff. It wasn't until middle school I found out this is poor in America, and realized, oh, I better study really hard if I want to get out of this place. So, obviously I was raised by immigrant parents, and stereotypical Indians. My parents worked at 7-Eleven. They did not own it. I wish they did. But they worked at an Indian restaurant, worked at 7-Eleven, and I also had to grow up really quickly being the daughter of an immigrant parent, because they spoke no English. I had to figure out how to help my dad pay the bills. I had to help my dad figure out, you know, how to get his driving test, which took him like 7 times to pass, because I had to, you know, he took all the tests and then I had to circle all the answers, and that's how he passed. But I went to Pacific High School, which was been shut down 3-4 times over the years for violence, gang violence, but I survived Pacific High School. I also was top 10, which turns out is not that big deal in Pacific High School, because my mom told me your cousin's valedictorian. That's how Indian people motivate their kids, by the way. If you guys didn't know, they just compare you to other people. I think it works. But I had very influential teachers. They saw something in me. I didn't speak English. Early on, I had great teachers that took an interest on me, because I wanted to learn. I wanted to be better. So after school, they would tutor me and do all this extra work that, I mean, that's really the reason why I even made it into college, because they told me I could do it and they believed in me. So for a kid, I would say that's one of the most important things, is having the right people, the right mentors, the right teachers in their life. And Bobby mentioned 9/11. I was a sophomore in high school when 9/11 happened. I walked in and they had those big TVs. And I remember coming in, and Mr. Carney, my geography teacher, told me to sit down, and it's not, and he just looked sad, so I sat down. Then he told us what happened, and I saw those videos of those people jumping out of the building, and I don't know, it changed something in me. And then I saw G.I. Jane with Demi Moore, and go, oh, that's what I'm going to grow up to be. I didn't realize at that time that I was going to be 5'2" and 110 pounds probably for a long time, but in my head I was going to be G.I. Jane. And when I saw that 9/11 thing, it sparked something in me and made me want to join the military. So then the recruiter showed up, and all he had to do was give me a free Army mug, and I signed up at 17. They had this program called a split off, and you can join as go to boot camp at 17 and finish your junior year, or after your junior year of high school, you go to boot camp, come back, finish your senior year, you go to AIT. And my dad signed it off, because he's like, well, we have no money, so if it'll help you pay for college, go ahead. Signed off on it. So I put this picture of my mom there. My mom came here and worked as a housekeeper for other Indian people. She was a nanny and a housekeeper, cleaning a lot of toilets. She has a 2nd grade education, that is actually not very literate in our own language. So what she did value more than anything else is education. She kept telling me, you're smart, I don't want you to be like me, study, study, study. She would buy me every single book that she didn't even know how to read, but didn't really buy me a lot of toys, but bought me books and pushed and drilled this value of hard work and education, saying, I don't want you to be like me. But the crazy thing is, she's actually my biggest hero, because I wouldn't be anything without her and her hard work. But my mom pushed my sister and I, and she encouraged me to join the Army, because in India, women, or especially where I come from, are not allowed all these opportunities. And she's like, you came out like a boy. If we didn't come to America, somebody would beat you to death there, because you kept talking back so much, and you're just so stubborn. So she's like, you need to put this to like, so she's the one that pushed me to go to the Army, pushed me to go to college, and pushed for my education. So that's how everything started. And that's my military journey. So I joined at 17, I deployed to Iraq, and I was nothing medical, because I saw G.I. Jane and decided I wanted to be a combat vet. So I was actually Transportation Corps. And I have proud to say I wore all 3 uniforms, because I spent 9 years there until I got medically discharged. But Yeah, so that's what I started off with, and I went into the desert gear, and then that's where I finished off at. And next slide. So I would say one of the things that shaped me since I joined at 17, got out at 28, or no, I can't do math, 26 years old. But I would say one of the things that really shaped me are the Army core values. Every branch has one, but the Army's, the acronym stands for leadership. So loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. So those are some things that early on, I would say my adult life, that's what shaped me into the person I am. And I'm so grateful for the discipline and all the lessons that I learned in the military, which at that time I had no idea would play a huge part into who I am going to be as a woman, as a mother, as just a human being in general. And those are my babies. So I got discharged from the Army in 2012. I was divorced. I had 2 kids, but my mother would not let me quit. She helped watch my children. So when people tell me, oh, you're a single mom and you went to college and did all this, it was not that impressive because my mom raised my children for me, so I did have a lot of help. But these are my babies, and they're my motivation for everything I do and continue to do, so I can leave a better world for them and hopefully improve on all the hard work my parents have done for me. And let's see, I finished at California State University of San Bernardino. I had about 182 college credits, equivalent to about 2 college degrees by the time I finished. So in the 9 years I was in the Army, I've been to college everywhere I was stationed, but finally finished it up in public health in California State University. And when I got out, I realized there's no money in public health. You cannot make money trying to tell people to be healthy. And policy writing and grant writing doesn't get you any money. So as a single mom, I'm like, I need to also look into what I'm going to be doing. So the fastest way to get into the medical field, which I fell in love with as a combat lifesaver in the Army, is I'm like, I love trauma. I love the adrenaline rush. So I went into Southern Pacific University's accelerated nursing program, finished my bachelor's in 2 years, went right into my master's, and then right into my doctorate. I started off ER trauma nurse at every hospital around here, had great experience, and then I moved to the ICU as a nurse practitioner, and then went into pain management, private practice. Throughout that entire time, I was working in aesthetics as a part-time job because a plastic surgeon asked me to help him suture. And then he's like, you can do Botox and fillers and all this, just help me do it. And I was like, I would never put Botox in my face. Now, I would never go without Botox. But, at that point, that's what he's like, just do it. So it was a hobby, which turned into a passion. And that led me to opening up M Health and Beauty. Let's see. I would say having a business or being independent is what I saw other people doing and going, oh, I wish I could be a boss lady one day, or I wish I could be independent and have my own business and all this stuff. It was a dream. It was never something I thought I would actually do because I would tell myself, I don't have a business degree. I'm scared to open up a business. I'm scared to do this. So when I really think about it, the biggest thing that was stopping me from opening up a business was not lack of passion, was not lack of knowledge or anything. It was just fear, the fear of failure. That was it. That was the only thing that was stopping me. I didn't want to take a chance on it because I was afraid to fail. So COVID happened. And I had a few friends come over to the house for emergency Botox. And Mitch was making a sandwich in the kitchen, and he saw somebody hand me a bunch of cash. And he looked at me and goes, first of all, how is Botox an emergency? And I told him, well, some of these women, their husbands haven't seen their real faces in God knows how long. So, yeah, it is an emergency to them. And then he's like, wait, they just gave you that much money for any? I'm like, well, yeah. And he goes, okay, I do one hip replacement, and I get $800 reimbursement from Medicare, and here he is, a surgeon, doing all this hard work, 7 years of residency, and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, what are you doing? Why did you tell me this? I'm like, I don't know. So it was a hobby. Somehow I woke up the next morning, I had a DBA I was, an independent contractor working for a plastic surgeon. I had a DBA called M Health and Beauty. I woke up and he told me I'm going to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. 2 months, I quit my job. Then I opened up M Health. We rented a place, gutted the place down within 3 months, and had a grand opening. I didn't know what anything was. I just Googled some stuff, and it said join the Chamber of Commerce. I did. They showed up to my grand opening, which I thought nobody was going to show up. Turned out people showed up. So I would say I was winging it in the beginning, but boy, did I have to learn fast. So one of the things I learned along this 1 year, so we had our grand opening August 23rd of last year, and since then I realized that success is personal. Stop comparing myself to other people. I'll get there on my own time. And also, it does require taking a risk. If you didn't take a risk and if it was easy, well then everybody would do it, right? So it does require risk. And one of my favorite Bible verses as I was praying, where there is no vision, the people perish. So I didn't really have a vision. I was just taking a chance and hoping. But I really decided to sit down and write down my vision for my business and actually have a business plan, which Mitch helped me write. And I decided to take a chance on myself and trust God. And that's where we are. That was our Jim. Where's Jim? That was Jim's picture, which, thank you. So that was our grand opening, and Bobby was there too for that one. So the vision for M Health and Beauty was the art of subtlety, because I wanted to improve the quality of life and overall confidence for both men and women. And I wanted to encourage women and men to feel good about themselves, but not change what you look like. You know, I think everybody is unique and born beautiful in their own way. And I wanted to enhance that and help people age gracefully without going to the stereotypes, because I have children and I don't want anybody to grow up thinking they're not good enough or beautiful as who they are. But I wanted to help highlight and show what they're actually beautiful. And that was my goal. And so we also wanted to offer services for both men and women, because I love being healthy and I wanted to bring my mindset of being healthy from the inside out to the community. And we provide safe, budget-friendly, and patient-centered treatments for all of our patients. And we do offer 10% military discount, and as well as for first responders too, because I do want to give back to the community. That's a big thing. And we sat down and wrote down our company values. So, I mean, I'm not going to go over all of this, but most of you guys are in business. And as you guys know, that company values are the beliefs, philosophies, and principles that drive your business. It is the DNA of your company that differentiates you from others. So it impacts employee retention, customer retention. It impacts how you do business with everybody and how you treat your employees. This is, I think every person, when you sit down, whether you start a small business, big business, it doesn't matter. You have to have a vision. That's going to be the driving force. And I also decided to sit down and write down and I give this to every employee that we have. So right now we have 3 employees. And I sit down and go over this with every single person, because I want to stay focused. We had a vision from the very beginning. And as I hire people, as I grow our team, I wanted to make sure that they knew what the plan is. And I wanted to make sure that they knew what our core values are: integrity, transparency, customer-centered, accountability. Next slide. Learning, initiative, professionalism, teamwork, discipline, humility, passion, communication, and perseverance. I would say perseverance is the biggest one for me, because I had a professor in college that tell me it's not the smartest people that make it, it's the one that perseveres. And boy, is this hard work. I am surrounded by a lot of smart people, and I am not the smartest person in the room, and that is intentional. I don't think and that's just my personal belief. I don't think you should ever be the smartest person in the room, because you'll never grow. So when I make friends, when I network with everybody, because there's always a lesson to be learned from everybody. No matter what job you do or what you do, people can always teach you something. And I am never, ever the smartest person in my circle of friends or my network. And this is just some company value stats that I was looking at. 35% of U.S. workers say they would, was there a slide before that? No, okay, sorry. I think I messed that up just a little bit. But these are just some stats basically for HR leaders and businesses, what they talk about when it comes to employees that, you guys could read. But basically, it really does matter. Employee satisfaction and making it a place where employees want to come to work is crucial to having a business succeed. Next slide. More stats, basically all about employees being happy at workplace. Next one. Okay, so when it comes to all the things I learned the first year of business, there was a lot, because like I said, I didn't have a plan. I just quit my job and decided, okay, I'm gonna do this. So it happened really fast. So first thing to getting a business, I had to call my CPA and figure out what's the difference between an LLC, S Corp. Okay, turns out there's a lot, but we decided on that. Then we had to talk to the lawyers. Then we had to get the bank and the leasing and the hiring. All these are things I had to learn. And instead of hiring somebody, I decided to do research, buy a lot of books, listen to podcasts, talk to my CPA, talk to the lawyers, and figure everything out, write everything down, and make sure that we checked all the boxes legally. And I had to learn to be an expert in my field. So I was working part-time in aesthetics, and now I wanted to go full-time. Now I'm not working for somebody. I own the practice. So how do I protect myself from legal implications? How do I make sure I hire the right employees? How do I make sure that I am an expert in my field? Because now I can't rely on the crutch of me working for someone and going, oh, it's their responsibility, right? So I can just go ask them, because now people are going to come ask me. So that also meant that I had to take a lot of refresher courses. Even though I've been doing it, I had to take a lot of refresher courses and take a lot of classes on not just procedures, but also teaching somebody else, because I've never actually taught somebody else. Because now I have to hire nurses and stuff and teach them. That's a whole different skill set, because just because you know how to do something doesn't mean that you're going to be a great teacher. And so I myself have never taught. So I actually took classes on how to teach and how to be a boss. Learn local and state laws. I had to learn Corona because I live in Loma Linda. I had to drive here, but I also really had to figure out, how does this city work? Is it going to support me? Is it going to, network for me? How do I network? And one of the best things I would say I did was join the Chamber of Commerce. Not only having met the staff here, going to the Good Morning Coronas in the morning, going to the events. I met Pal Binder, who's pushing me, motivating me. And for me personally, when I met her, I beelined right towards her. I'm like, wow, there's another Indian woman that that is in leadership and in business. So I went right to her. I went to the women's conference last year, met a lot of new clients, passed out my brochures, and then I met Jill and Conrad, and they helped me expand and get into the community, introduced me to a lot of people. And then I went to the gym, the UFC gym, because I met Eric there. They let me set up booths, and I met a lot of clients passing out brochures. And I'm like, hi, do you want free Botox? Do you want this? We have raffles. I mean, I have 5 seconds to sell myself. And people are like, no, because they're there working out. They take it very seriously. Or other people are like, oh, okay, maybe. But after every 20 no's, maybe one person came, and that person then referred me to someone else. And so, that networking is something that's really, really important. And it also taught me about customer service. And customer service, I thought I was good at it because I'm a nice person. Turns out that's not customer service. Anybody can be nice. Customer service is tricky because you have to really know your customer, right? So even if you're not in the aesthetic industry or in any industry, I will say one of the best things that I learned is when it comes to customers, if this is just something simple that I think everybody can use. There's 4 kinds of customers that you're going to get. You have your I want to say patient or client-centered customer. So those are the customers that are going to come to you, and they're going to come to you because you're the best in their eyes, right? They're not going to go to anybody else because they love you, they have a relationship with you, and I have patients that have followed me. Oh my God, you're the best, and I'm like, really? I'm not, but thank you. But they love me. There's nothing I can do wrong. So you have your client, patient-centered customers. They're going to come to you no matter what. Then you have your product-centered customers. So they're going to come to you because you give them the best of the best. This is the brand that you provide. In my industry, I offer Botox, the brand name Botox, but I also do Dysport. I also do Xeomin. I also do PDO-Thread. So people come to me and they want to know, well, do you have the real Botox or the fake one or the cheaper one? No, I have the real one and I have the cheaper one. Okay, well then I'll come to you. So they don't care about me. They don't care about any of that stuff. They just want that, they want the product. That's what they care about. Then you have, I would say, your price-centered patients. If you're in business, I would say those are the most difficult patients to deal with realistically, because for myself, I have 14 years of college education, a lot of student debt, and my expertise. So when you're coming to me and you're paying maybe more than what you would be paying at some other places, because you're paying for my level of expertise, my training, all the time I've invested, you're paying for quality, right? But they don't care. They're like, at this other place, I got it for $450 and you're charging $650. And I'm like, I can't even buy it for $450. So I don't know what you're getting and what they're putting in your face, but they don't care. They just care about the price. They'll call around and they'll ask, how much is it? That's all they care about. Then you have your process-centered client or patient, right? So process-centered patients, they're usually your really busy people. They're other business owners usually, or people that are vice presidents or something. They don't care about me. They don't care about the price at all. They don't care about the product. They care about how efficient you are and the actual process. They care how you get in and out. Their time is very valuable. These are patients that when I have them, I know that they have this. They're usually on their phones. We have an IV infusion room that we have them waiting on. If they have to wait, I offer them coffee, tea, whatever, and keep them waiting very little, and then we offer them something so their time is appreciated, valued. These are the patients that or the clients that you see, you never want to waste their time. When you see that they're in a rush, I have to be very accommodating towards them, and I have to get them in and out, because if I don't, they'll never come back to me, right? And if I ever reschedule them, I now, offended them in some way because I didn't value their time. So when it comes to customer service, I would say that was probably the best lesson I've learned, is that there's different kind of clients and patients out there. And my job is that we have about 30 seconds to make an impression on someone, right? And in that 30 seconds, I have to figure out what kind of a person or client am I dealing with. And then I have to tailor myself to that person in order to close that sale or get them to come back to my place or come to my place, right? So that has been the hardest lesson to learn, because if any of you guys that know me, I'm a talker. So I've had to edit myself in order to make that happen. Okay, mistakes. There were a lot in the first year. So first employee, I work in aesthetics. So I thought, let me hire somebody way more attractive than me, because I don't do a lot of this stuff to my face, and I want to seem as a professional, and I want to be taken serious, because I'm really wanting to grow my men's health too. So let me hire someone really attractive that looks the part of an aesthetic business. She was very attractive. She was very young. It did not work out. It lasted 1 month. Because turns out she did not know how to do a spreadsheet. She didn't know how to do customer service. She really thought her job was to just look pretty. That's not her fault. I told her that was part of her job, and I hired because I hired based on what I thought without doing any research, because I never hired anybody. So I had to learn. Again, I need to interview employees and make sure they fit my vision and go back to my core values. So when I interview people, I really have to make sure that they're a fit for this company and this brand that I'm building. So the second and third time around, I got it right. I took my time. I interviewed them. I looked at their background, had a meeting, and got to know them before I hired them, and not just for a look, but for what they can do and what they add to the team. And I also wanted to see, did they want to grow? And do their values and personal beliefs align with my personal beliefs and my values? Electrical. Oh, good God. So I rent from another person who bought a medical building. Turns out medical buildings need different kinds of electrical, because we plug in big machines. I bought a laser that's about $270,000. That entire building had, I guess, 120 voltage, right? You needed a 240 voltage to plug that in. So I almost destroyed a $270,000 machine because I didn't know, and neither did the doctor that we both didn't know. So luckily we hired an electrician, and I also learned a valuable lesson. Do not shortchange your electricians. Make sure you get the best of the best, especially if you're going to go into business and you're going to deal with medical equipment, because that equipment, if you go mess it up, they don't give you your money back. Insurance doesn't cover that, right? So God worked that out, and luckily we had to rewire all of this before we can plug that laser in. So now we, that learned, again, huge lesson I learned. Licensing issues with medical director. Another thing, I know you guys aren't in aesthetics, but when you're a nurse practitioner in the state of California, you need a medical director. A medical director oversees what you're doing to make sure that everything is done safely. Next year, 2023, nurse practitioners have independent practice, meaning we don't need to have a medical director on board. We can completely practice independently. That law did pass. There's a lot of states in the U.S. that already have independent practices for nurse practitioners, but California has what you call where they don't need to sign off on everything. They don't need to be directly there, but I do have to list one, and that's in case of an emergency. Well, if you're going to hire a medical director, you also have to make sure that your medical director is also licensed or certified in everything. So, if I had more certifications, I had to make sure now my medical director also had all those certifications. So we had to make sure we worked together to come up with that. So that was a lot for both of us to do in order to get our business going. Setting up an employee ID and doing payroll. Never done that, right? There's a lot of laws, and California is got a lot of laws for employees to protect their employees. Some great, some makes it difficult for employers, such as buying uniforms. Federally, you can tell your employees to buy a uniform. State of California, I can't force my employees to wear scrubs and tell them you have to go buy it because they might not have the budget. So either I have to provide it for them, especially if it has my logo on it. So it might seem like a small thing at the time, but you know what? If they did report me, that's a big deal, right? So those are like little laws that I didn't know because I always bought my own scrubs. The hospital didn't buy my scrubs for me, I bought them. So I didn't know that when it comes to my business, these are little things that I had to look into. So ADP is who I signed up with to do payroll. And then there is a aesthetic organization that I joined for aesthetic spas that you can join and you pay a lot of money, but they send you all the state laws. And that includes, what each person can do based on their licenses for the state, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to go, oh, I can do this, but my RN cannot do certain things that I can do versus my doctor can sign off that I can, right? So we had to make sure every person was practicing within their scope of practice based on their license. So those organizations, for whatever your specialty is, I would encourage you to find out. So if you don't know the laws, they give you a list to get you started, and then you could expand on that. Medical charting is a big thing for what I do. So I had to create and sign up with the whole EMR, which is electronic medical records. Create patient charts, write all the consent forms, write all the stuff for the website, because for me, I can't just have any website. I have to have an ADA compliant website. So that costs extra money, and I had to make sure that it's friendly for people with impaired hearing and vision. So that took a lot of work. And then reviewing contracts. I signed so many contracts when it comes to purchasing medical supplies. Some stuff comes from Florida, but they won't ship to California because California has special laws. So you have to ship it to Arizona and have it. It's so many loopholes and things that I've had to learn. So I set up IV infusions. I can get maybe about 10 of my infusion stuff, but not 2 of them. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I can legally do it in the state of California. I just can't get shipped to California. How does that make any sense? I don't know. But now we had to set up a corporation to another state, then to have it delivered here. Other things with the contracts that I've had to learn was I signed contracts with all these different companies to purchase. So some stuff I can purchase, some stuff my medical director has to purchase. Who has the signature authority, because I can't do it all. Then I had to train my staff to make sure that these shipments are coming in on time, and the expiration dates and everything meets our patient requirements, and coordinate with the labs that we order, because we do in-house labs. That was a whole contract that I had to set up, but I also had to meet all the requirements to make sure that we're doing it safely, in order to, because we're not a lab, we're not LabCorp, but we wanted wanted to set it up to make it more efficient for our patients. So now that's a whole different thing I had to set up to meet those requirements. Positives about the business, I would say it's slow and steady. And I intentionally wanted my business to go slow. One, I didn't want to go into business just for the sake of money. We obviously go into business to make money, but I wanted to make sure I delivered on what I'm saying I'm offering. So I didn't want to go on a big marketing campaign and say because anybody can market. But when patients come in, I wanted to back it up with what I actually provide. And in the beginning, I can't, because I myself am learning. I have to train my employees. And I wanted to make sure that I'm not stressing my employees out, because I decided to go full scale. Now I'm yelling at them and I'm stressed out, and I'm transferring that stress onto them to deliver something that I myself don't even know. So we decided to go slow and steady. And that's okay. I'll get there when I get there. But I wanted to make sure that it was customer centered. I wanted my patients to feel that experience. I wanted them to make sure that they're valued, because I don't care if you're spending $800 with me or $10,000, because there are patients that spend a lot of money. But for a person that makes maybe $40,000 a year, that $800 is a lot of money for them. And the fact that they chose to spend that cash, that's an elective procedure with me, means a lot to me. Just as much, if not more, than somebody who can, $10,000 is nothing, right? So for me, I value every single one of my patients. I am grateful for their trust in me and their business. And so I want to make sure that whether you're spending a little bit or a lot, that you feel special and that you want to keep coming back to me because you trust me. That trust my patients have in me, that's the most important thing to me, that they're happy and that they trust me. Employee retention. We've had, after that first debacle, we've hired 3 new employees, and they've been there a year. One person that I'm really proud of that I couldn't do anything without is Giselle. If any of you guys have come to my office, you guys know who Giselle is. She started off with me. I hired her. She showed up in her sandals. I was desperate for an employee. She worked. She came from packaging and Instacart. This young lady, I feel like a proud mama when it comes to her. She helped me set up everything. I still have no idea how to do her job and cannot function without her, because we had to set up an EMR, we had to set up all this stuff. She helped me set up all this, the tracking. She has done so much for me. I would be lost without her. So we decided to divide and conquer. I did all the things I had to do, she did all the things she had to do, and we have an efficient system. And she then trained our next staff, and I trained our nurse, right? So we divided and conquered. But in working with me this year, I love that I have invested so much in her, but she has also invested back in me. She just got into nursing school. She wants to be a nurse. She wants to be an injector, and she is going to ask her school to train with me. So I just can't wait to see where she's going to go. Whether she stays with me or starts her own thing, I would be so happy for her either way, because I know that we helped each other and I had a part to do with it. So to see her grow has probably been one of the best things about being in this business, is seeing her growth and how far she's come. So I have a great team that we're building, and I'm really grateful for them. And expanding our network, like I said, the gym, the chamber, the local businesses, city council. I've met a lot of great people. When I went to Good Morning Corona with the chamber, I met city council, I met the mayor, Jackie. I fell in love with Jackie because she was the mayor when I met her, and I'm like, oh wow, there's a minority woman that is a female mayor. I was so impressed with her. So I really, enjoyed getting to know her and just picking her brain, because she's incredibly smart and helps me see another different point of view that my stubborn butt normally has not. And local residents. Corona is a great city. I'm not from Corona, I'm from Loma Linda. But Corona is a very patriotic city. It is so diverse. There's so many different groups of people here, so many businesses, so many people I've met, and everybody has been incredibly nice. And just getting there in the community, getting to know them, getting to know their businesses, it's been incredible. So I'm really grateful for all the people I've met, and even some people, I get referrals coming to me from just people that I've met at the chamber, people that I've met in the community, and that's been a very humbling and grateful feeling, because I have not marketed. My son figured out my TikTok and my Instagram for me. I just barely figured out how to use Reels and what a trending sound is. So instead of paying a marketing company, I'm like, Giselle, YouTube how to do Reels. And so I gave her a pay raise. She's like, I'll take it. So she's been posting, so that gave her an opportunity for more income. And we videotape all the time. I'm like, well, if you're the one videotaping, why don't you do the Reels? She Googled it, she figured it out, and she's been making our Reels. So we've organically grown our business with just, I would say, grassroots efforts of getting into the community, spreading the word, passing out flyers, meeting people. So it's a little bit of a longer route, but I am comfortable with it because for me, I want to build relationships. I want to make sure that I get grounded in this community because I want to be able to be a part of the community and I want to give back to the community. And the only way that you can do that is to really get out there and get to know the community, which are the people. So current state of M Health and Beauty, 3 employees. We have about 500 plus clients, 5-star reviews, and we're in the green. So I'm paying myself, not a lot, but it still means a lot. Because everybody told me if you open up your own business, you're not going to get paid for like 5 years, which was very daunting because my Amazon shopping had to cut down, a lot of shopping had to cut down. So that was really hard to grow up poor, finally have money to go shopping, and now I'm back to being poor. So that was hard. We're having our 1-year anniversary party coming up on August 20th. So we're going to throw a big old party. There will be champagne, food, and a lot of raffles. So we posted on social media. If you guys can make it, make it. We offer, back to the other slide, we offer about 29 procedures. So I'm just going to go over our biggest procedures. Obviously, it's aesthetics, Botox, fillers. We also do hormone replacement therapy for both men and women because aging gracefully is a big part in being healthy. So that's bioidentical hormone replacements for both men and women that we do. And it's, most men start losing testosterone around age 30, in your 30s, women 20s, right? And then premenopausal, if anybody's been menopausal, all those symptoms. So we wanted to make sure we really focused on health and regenerative medicine and add that because a lot of our men don't care about Botox and fillers and stuff until they see what I can do, but then they do care. But otherwise, that's not what they're coming for, but they want to feel healthy. So we offer hair restoration, hair removal, sexual dysfunction treatment, joint injections, pedio thread lifts, and so much more. So those are our biggest things that we offer. And for the 1-year anniversary party, we're going to be raffling off 1 hormone replacement treatment, 1 year of free Botox to 1 lucky winner, a lot of Botox fillers, basically all of our big procedures, we're raffling it off. So if you guys do get the chance to come, please RSVP and please come celebrate with us. We'd love to have you guys. Let's see. I don't know if you guys heard this, but how am I going to succeed? Angela Lee Duckworth, she's actually an American academic psychologist, and she's a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, where she studies grit. And this is where, going back to my perseverance that my professor told me, which I took it to heart, but didn't really understand until reading some of her stuff. So popular, it's grit. What makes you successful? It's that perseverance, it's that grit, because I'm definitely not the smartest person. I surround myself with smarter people, but it's me getting up every day, it's me pushing myself, it's me taking a chance on myself. So if there's anybody out there that thinks they can't do something or isn't smart enough, find people there's always people that are willing to help you. Network and believe in yourself and just take a chance and do it. So this is contrary to popular opinion. Duckworth's research indicates that success doesn't depend on talent. So yes, you do need talent, right? But it's not talent alone. It's grit and it's that perseverance. And most importantly, what I learned is that common sense would tell you that customer service is probably the most important thing in a business. And I'm not saying customer service is not important. I agree. But what I would tell you is focus on your employees. And the reason I say that is because employees, if you can build an awesome culture, if you can invest in their professional development, give the employees the tools to succeed, let your employees be autonomous, and then ask my employees, I always ask them, hey, how am I doing as a boss? How are you doing? Are you happy? Because I want them to be happy. I don't want to have a high turnover and have to have chaos and have to train somebody constantly. So I sit down with them, once a month we have a meeting, and I sit down with them individually and go, how am I doing? Are you happy? What can I do, right? What can I do to make it better for you? And I also recognize employees' great work. So if they're doing something, before I pay myself, I make sure they're paid. But it is a cash business, so I have to give them an incentive. I do give bonuses even now as I'm not making any money. Even if it's a little bit, I say thank you, I pay bonuses, I get them gift cards. Mitch and I take them out to eat as much as we can, because my business would be nothing without them showing up every day. And these days in California, even if you're paying above minimum wage, it's really not that, right? So it's not even just money. I think people need to feel appreciated. Just thank you goes a long way, because it mattered to me when I was an employee. It mattered to me as a soldier in the Army, my leadership recognizing, because in the military, you get paid based on your rank. There were people that were the same rank as me that did half of what I did, but I didn't get paid more. But you know what? That award, that recognition, that thank you meant the world to me and built me up so much that, to me, I think it's really important we build up our employees. And if something doesn't work, change it. It's okay to not get it right, especially if you're new, right? So if your employees tell you, hey, then don't get upset that they don't like it. Don't take it personal that they don't like what you're doing. Change it and ask them for feedback. And that's the whole point of asking them. So it's a reciprocal relationship and you're working together, and it is teamwork that way. So it should go without saying, if the person who works at your company is 100% proud of the brand and you give them the tools to do a good job and they're treated well, they're going to be happy. When companies focus on employees first, effectively, in the end, shareholders do well. The customers do better, and your staff remains happy. I think we all know who Richard Branson is, right? So when I decided to open up a business, I went crazy reading business books and all kinds of stuff. So this is one of my favorite things. Those are my two everyday staff. I do have a part-time nurse too, but that's Giselle and that's Louise. Both of them come from non-medical, but they're learning so fast. Giselle, like I said, is now starting nursing school. We hired him because he's also bilingual, and that's been truly helpful. But they both come from different backgrounds, which has helped me. He actually worked at a staffing agency, which has helped me. He just knows so much random stuff that I didn't even think about. So we hired people from with completely different fields, but I hired them because of their work ethic and for the right reasons. But they add so much value with all the knowledge that they have from things that I have no clue about. And then just some simple advice. I'm, like I said in the beginning, we're not just defined by one thing, right? We're so many things. So importance of self-care for the entrepreneur. I think when you go into business, I think we all just work hard, right? No matter what we do, everybody believes in this work hard, but we forget to take care of ourselves. So I would say there's 3 components of self-care: body, mind, and spirit. So for me personally, what I do, I work out, I eat healthy, I see my doctor and my dentist because I'm scared of my dentist. So I make sure I see my dentist every 6 months. I get up usually 4:30 in the morning, if not in the afternoon, and work out. When I got out of the Army, I was forced to work out because I had to pass the PT test. 2 years before I got out, I ran into a sergeant who got retired, and 2 years later, he didn't look recognizable. And so it was like, whoa, you went from doing PT to what happened to you? And he's like, oh yeah, now that I didn't have to shave or exercise, I just let myself go. And he's like, yeah, don't be me. Make sure you pretend you're still in the Army. So I pretend I'm still in the Army and have to pass a PT test. That's worked out for me, so that discipline has allowed me to stay that way. Mind. Make time for my family, my friends, yoga, meditation, and again, surround myself with smarter people. So I do make time. Money's gonna come, but one of the best things that I've had the privilege of being was a ICU nurse practitioner. People can get injured, be in the ICU for about 3-4 months and stay there when they finally wake up. Sometimes I would see people there for 3-4 months, and you go through their medical history, they have 4 or 5 kids. They have 4 or 5 kids, they're married, or they have this family, yet they maybe had 1 or 2 people show up at their bedside. Then you see a very, humble person, not a lot of money or whatever, and you would see a million, and I'm like, your grandma's gonna be fine. She just had chest pain because her pacemaker, tweaked a little bit. We're gonna discharge her. But by the time the ambulance was called, grandma made it to the ER. By the time we even processed the paperwork, there's about 100 people trying to break down the door over poor little grandma, and I'm like, grandma didn't even have a heart attack. But why? Why would they show up? Because she invested in those people. And as much as I love the military, I realized I worked really hard. I kicked butt in the military. I made NC of the year. I kicked butt in the military. But when I got out, they just replaced me with the next person, right? But what's going to be there at the end of the day? It's going to be my family. It's going to be my friends. It's going to be those people. So my children, I only have so much time with them. I'm young. I'm only 38, so I eventually will make money. But my babies are going to grow up fast. I can't tell my kids to spend time with me when I'm old if I never spend time with them when they're young. So they are forced to spend time with me whether they like it or not. So that's what we do. He's like, yeah, see, he's here. And lean on God and his wisdom and be open to other spirituality. There's wisdom to be gained from others. So I grew up very Christian in a Christian household. I love Jesus, and I'm grateful for being brought up Christian, right? But I have friends that are Jewish. I have friends that are Muslim. I have friends that are Hindus. There's something good you can learn from every religion. And I actually love making friends with somebody that's different than me, because I feel like if we just surround ourselves with the same people, we'll never grow. We'll be narrow-minded, and we'll never expand. And we'll never go past our full potential. So the fact that I was able to make friends with people from all walks of life, even if I don't believe in that religion or practice it, my God, there's so much wisdom and knowledge I've gotten from other people, their way of life. And that's one of the best things that I think we all can do, is make friends from different cultures and different religions, because we learn so much. And just because you burned the midnight oil doesn't mean you have to look like it. So yeah, we all work very hard. And I really believe in taking care of yourself. So when I was in boot camp, most women that join the military, or when I tell them I'm in the military, they always ask, oh, are you in the Air Force? No, I was in the Army. Oh, you look like you would be in the Air Force. And stereotypes, right? Air Force and Navy gets the pretty girls. Marine Corps and Army does not get the pretty ones, which is not true, because there's a lot of beautiful women in both branches, but that's just a stereotype. But in boot camp, I was very little. I was way skinnier than this, believe it or not, and I had all this gear on, and I just had like this bobbity head and young and looked like a kid. And I had this beautiful drill sergeant. All the other female drill sergeants were very masculine looking and tough. And I had drill sergeant Green. She was gorgeous, and she was tough, and she was little, and she was feisty, and she was a New Yorker and scary. And I just looked so little, and I just told her, like, I just wish I was taller. And I said it one day, like, just out of frustration, because everybody just, oh, she's so cute. And I hated because I wanted to be taken seriously. And she told me that you don't have to look like a man to do a man's job. And that she goes, so after that, I'm like, you know what? Whatever the right shade of lipstick I could wear that I can get away with, I wore lipstick, I did my hair, I looked the part, and I kicked butt, and I was an expert shot. So I did a man's job really well, but I looked like a woman, and I was carrying myself like a lady the whole time. So that's from her. Being successful in life. I'm sure you guys all know the Vince Lombardi, right? Probably one of the best football coaches in U.S. history. But I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to read his book, When Pride Still Mattered. And great book. But he was the son of an Italian butcher. He struggled for 20 years as a football coach in high school, then went to West Point for the Army, then went to the New York Giants. And it wasn't until age 46 that he got his big break coaching the Packers. But if you read his book and if you just Google, God, this man's got so many inspiring quotes and all kinds of stuff that he says. But, the measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. I don't have much, but whatever I have, I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. And hopefully my kids will see that, and I give them more than what I have, and then they will keep passing that forward. That's my hope. And I love this one, but there are 3 things that are important to every man in the locker room: his God, his family, and the Green Bay Packers, and in that order. So for me, I would say God first, family, then my career. Because if those priorities are aligned, I think everything will just work itself out. And he was very religious. But yeah, when we place our trust in God, or whatever you believe in, but I think we have to put our trust in God, something bigger than ourselves, or just believing in yourself that you're going to do something, and not in dependent on what the world says. But you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in God. What guides me? Jeremiah 29. I have this posted all over my office. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope in a future. And Psalms, probably one of my favorite books. The Lord makes firm the steps of those who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. And I'm really going to trust on that one, because I've stumbled a lot, I've failed a lot, but I keep getting up and I haven't stayed down, so I'm just going to keep trusting that and just keep trying. And then wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. I read that and it meant probably my Proverbs, my favorite book. There's nothing but wisdom in there, but that's where when I focused my business on, I didn't want to go aggressive with marketing and everything. I wanted to get to know people. And I make these 1 hour appointment times so I can get to know people, to talk to them. I don't do these 15-minute in and out appointments because I want to build those relationships. I want people's money, when they spend that money with me, I want it to be meaningful, that they didn't feel like they were just a number. I want them to know that I actually care, and you can't do that without investing time. So I'm not, I don't have a plan to hurry up and make a lot of money. I want to do it right and get to know people and build relationships, and I think everything else will line up. And that is my blended family. They're not all mine. The brown ones are mine. The other ones are Mitch's. But this is what keeps me going, and this is what motivates me and supports me. And, I had a sergeant in the Army. His name was Sergeant First Class Moore, who's now Major Moore. But when we were in Iraq, I got promoted to sergeant early. I made sergeant at 20 years old, and I was just a kid, right? So I met all the requirements on paper. I was smart. I passed the PT test, expert shot. It's like a packet you put together. So it's a point system, right? So if you have the highest points, you can get it. And I was so aggressive, and I kept getting promoted. But I was just a kid. What does a 20-year-old know how to lead people, especially when you're in Iraq in a transportation unit with all these soldiers under you? But God, I was so grateful for that man. He taught me what a real leader is. And being a leader is not about bossing people around. It's about serving. It's a responsibility. You're there to serve those people that are under you. And the way he taught me that was, people go from E4 to E5 and get promoted, and they're like, now I'm a sergeant. You have to stand up parade rest, or now you have to salute me. And it's just this power trip. And I'm like, wait, you're writing me up for something 2 weeks ago. We hung out and you did that. And now you're telling me I can't do it, and you're writing me up so you'd have this power trip. And he never did. But I remember he was like 5 ranks above us. When it was time to do the dirty work, he got down there and did it with us. I remember that we had to move all these, we had a lot of sandstorms, and he got out there, put up the shutters. He didn't just sit behind in his desk and order us to do it. He did it with us. And I don't know why, but as a 20-year-old, it meant so much to me. And so I literally didn't know what to be a leader. So I'm just going to be like him. So I copied. Eventually it became a compilation of a lot of leaders and a lot of people I met. But that's how I started off, is like, what kind of a person do I want to be? What kind of a leader do I want to be in the workplace? It was based on copying his mannerisms and how he did this stuff, because I realized if I treat people right, then they'll do right by me, right? That really is it. I think when it comes to business and in life, it's just treating people right. And that's, and then hopefully that'll pay it forward and they'll treat you right. So thank you. That's all I have.
So do we have any questions? We've got time for a couple of questions. I love what Mitch just did. He did the thumbs up. Didn't she do great? Man, I tell you, I'm going to take all those slides. Can I get a copy of them?
Yeah, I will.
Yes, okay, good. Excellent information. I want to thank you. Paul Binder, do you have a moment to come up and do a short presentation and So appreciate all of you being here. We're going to do some networking in just a minute, but please welcome my board chair for 2022. This is Paul Binder Padisha.
Oh, I am so proud of you. That was so inspirational. I learned a lot about business, and you have only been in business less than a year. And believe me, you're still kicking butt. Yeah, so there's so much wisdom in there, so much that you've packed into a very short life. Can't imagine what you're going to do in the next couple of years.
My age.
Right? Of my age. I've got 20 years on you, and it does take true grit to run a business. And just the fact, most businesses don't break even for 3 to 5 years. That's the average. You're looking at somebody at 5 years. So the fact that you're already there is phenomenal, but the fact you're not driven by money, you're driven by the passion to serve, and you've demonstrated that throughout your entire life. You really are a true embodiment of the Chamber's values and our theme this year, creating jobs and building a stronger community. We are so proud and honored to have you in our community. Thank you.
So what Paul Binder just gave her is a challenge coin. In the military, they're very popular. What we do here in the chamber is use them for motivation and so that you know that you're not in business by yourself. It has the theme of, Paul Binder's theme is creating jobs and building a stronger local community. And you definitely deserve that. For each of you that are here today, if you would like to get one of those, you can see Paul Binder right afterwards. On behalf of the chamber, I want to just say thank you for being here. This doesn't end right now. The next part is building some business relationships, visit with one another here. And again, thank you so much for being here. Remember that we have Good Morning Corona coming up this month, and there'll be other activities. If you want more information, check with Tricia or anyone in the staff. They'll be able to get you that information. Thank you so much. God bless you, and what gem. Thank you.